Okay, so simplicity scales, right? And this is even more important when you're using clay because I've seen a lot of people trying to overcomplicate things because they think for some reason they're going to drive more results when in reality it's not. Okay, so in this video I'm going to share with you in a high level how I build systems for my clients that are easy to scale and focus on the right things. And when I say that I focus on the right things, I mean that I focus on the things that drive results. In other words, revenue. Okay, so let's get straight into it. So, simplicity scales. A really clean presentation. I love this. So, the first thing is that have you ever felt that your clay workflows are too complex and hard to understand? Because if this is you, keep watching because I'm going to share with you how I make sure that your workflows are easy to scale and drive more revenue. Okay? So the first thing I just want to say is that complexity isn't bad. It is necessary. Okay. So there is a fine line between good complexity and overwhelming complexity when using Clay for outbound. Okay. And if I try to distill this idea into understanding what is the biggest point that you can leverage to understand how complex your workflows would be, it is your initial list. Okay. So your initial list, your starting point, your start list is crucial to determine how great your workflow would be. Okay, and to make it easier for you, I state this in a really easy way, and it's that a bad initial list means that the workflow would be more complex, and a good initial list means that the workflow would be less complex. Okay, and turning a bad list into a good one by creating complex workflows in between to analyze, research, enrich, and even qualify is hard. And I'm not saying and I am not saying this because it's hard because of your capabilities. No, it's because of the variability that this type of workflows and processes have. They have a lot of variability, and this is something I'm going to be discussing later down the line in this video. But this is just something that is really important for you to understand. Turning a bad list into a good one is hard, so I prefer 100 times start with a good list. Okay, and what makes a great list great? So there are several factors, and of course it depends on the market, the industry, your company, your goals, what you want to do, mm, the purpose, and even the goals, right? So of course there are a lot of several factors, but we were talking about creating outbound with a list, with an initial list. There's like three main factors that I really like to focus on. Okay, so the first one is a great list is not that messy. Okay, so if the list have companies across different industries, sizes, markets, then it's not a good list because then you cannot focus on a target market. Therefore, the outbound would be scattered and it wouldn't have a point because you are not focusing on the right type of person that you want to target. That's the first thing. The second thing is a great list can be easily enriched or is already enriched. Okay, and that means that if the list have domains, company names, and even LinkedIn URLs, then you can easily enrich your list with employee headcount, description, industry, estimated revenue, estimated web traffic, fundraising, open jobs, past experience when we're talking about leads like personas, emails, phone numbers, etc. So if it's public on the web, you can also create a research agents to enrich that data based on these data points that you are working with. These data points again are could be like the main, the LinkedIn URL, the company name. From the company name, you can use AI agents to research that company name in the web and get the company domain too. So yes, if you have a list that can be easily enriched, then it's a great list. And the last point, and this is something really interesting, is that a great list is can also be a niche list. And what I mean by that is that great lists can also be the ones that are found on top X rankings, on government records, and on government listings, on magazines. you name it, right? So think about where you can find a place where you can get the leads you want in a structured way. So, for example, e-commerce is store leads. Real estate agents is realtors.com. You see, agencies is, I just forgot the one for agencies. But agencies have like its own page where agencies advertise themselves to get more businesses. So all those things, if you can analyze where is that place in the web where you can get a list of companies that are under target, great, because that means that is a great list to work on. Okay. Now, this is the important notice that I was talking before. So it is easier to think that by creating complex workflows to make a bad list into a great one, or by adding more complexity to the workflow, you will get the same results as if you were working with a good list from the beginning. Well, this is not true. Okay, more complexity means more variability, which means there are more turning points that can make or break your systems. Okay, so what I mean by that is that, let's say you have a bad list and you want to turn this into a good list by enriching, qualifying, researching, whatever. You're right. The thing is that those are steps in the workflow. Sure, if each steps adds complexity to the workflow, but sometimes is unnecessary if you if you start with a great list from the beginning. Okay, not only that, but if you want to do this, then you have to be really careful about each turning point and each data point, because probably a lot of them are going to decide if an account go to the next layer, or they are like, hey, you are not a great fit, just move on. Okay, the problem with this is that, especially if you're using AI agents, there is such variability where you cannot control some things, right? And even though you have great capabilities, you know how to prompt correctly, there are some cases where the AI agents, the research, the data points are not accurate. And if you start adding more points like those ones, like that ones in the workflow, then what happens is that you're adding more variability into what is your expected result, right? So that's the reason why. You can do this, absolutely, yes, right? But you should be also aware and invest your time into making sure that this variability goes to zero. And one of the easiest ways to do that, or probably the best way to do this, is by, as I just said before, starting with a great list that you know that you only need to do X, Y, and Z to help an account, or even better, I'm just trying to explain this to you in the best simple terms, to actually analyze if a company is worth a fit for you. Okay, and that's the reason why. Okay, of course it needs to be more some complexity into the workflow, right? And I'm going to share with you what is this about, where you can add complexity. Okay, so this is cool, but when adding complexity is important? This is a great question, because complexity is important when you want to research leads or when you want to research the web. Okay, you have your context, you have your idea, you have your own knowledge. You want to use that knowledge to go and search the web into the things that are important to you that can help your leads. Okay, understand what you do, and therefore benefit from what you have to sell. Okay, and to do this you can ask this question to yourself. All right, so if your team had unlimited time to research anything on the web, could be anything, and all your customers data is in front of them, what's the one thing you would have your smartest person to do over and over again to drive more revenue? Think about this, because that data point, that thing, that task that you want your smartest person the research on the web is the point that values the most for you and that can help you decide if a company is worth a fit for you or not. Okay. And this question is important because it also helps you to understand where you want to go and understand what type of data is important to you to uncover pains, current situations, and the context each prospect lives in. Okay. And asking that question and get Clay and its systems such as the AI agents to orchestrate this for you is complex, right? But at the same time, it's that complexity that drives real revenue because that's the complexity that helps you understand where you're in the current market and what you can do to help your leads to reach their goals. Okay. So, the big takeaway first thing, and this is the overview process that I do to focus on what really matters. So the first thing is to analyze that or to think that your initial list is important. Okay, so take your time analyzing what is the best way to come up with a great list from the beginning. Okay, so this will help you solve 75% of your headaches in the future when building your workflows. That's important. The second thing is to outline the most important data points. Okay, so once you have a good list to work with, understand what are the data points that differentiate a good fit from a bad fit. Okay, and another really good question to ask is like, who benefits 10x from your product than anyone else? Okay, so who benefits 10x more from your product than anyone else? The third point would be research these data points programmatically. Okay, so you focus on orchestrating the systems in Clay to get the data, and you also do this by asking the question to yourself that I shared above and answer. And the answer of that question will lead you your workflows to the right direction because now you have the data that matters the most to you. And that data means that if you know that data for a specific account, you can uncover multiple things and you can also uncover the reasons why they should buy from you and why they should care about you. Okay. The fourth thing is to qualify and prioritize, of course, because if you have big list, you want to qualify and prioritize and focus on what really matters, what's important to you. So based on the results, qualify and prioritize. So what are the accounts that indeed could benefit more from you, and focus all your efforts on them because you know the reason why they are important to you. So you should know, or you should do your best to let them know that you can help them to reach their goals. Okay. And the fifth thing, sorry, contact them. So share with them your findings, why they should care about, what do you know that they don't know that can help their business to reach their goals. So the list is the message at the end of the day. And by doing this, you understand what's important to you, you understand what are the data that really matters to you, and you focus your workflows to uncover that data, uncover that truth for you, and then you trim what's not necessary, focus on what's important, and you provide value by sharing your findings to the people that you want to target. Okay, so this is also like saying at the end of the day, the 80 to 20 rule, that 20% of your inputs means the 80% of your output. This is where you're focusing on what matters, trimming the rest, and leveraging those crucial data points into your favor to get the people that you want to get in front of your door. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching 14 minutes. I hope you find this pretty valuable to you. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, I just get out of breath. Thank you so much. I hope you learn a lot today, and speak to you soon. Okay, thanks for watching. As always, bye.